Hello there, lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV main news today, the 5th of April in the year 2025. Let's now take a look at the headlines. Government urged to lift MUKULA tree ban before 2026 elections. Embrace sustainable agricultural practices to be food secure, LUMEZI farmers advised. More stakeholders join calls for government to stiffen punishment for defilers and rapists. In international news this evening, Organization for Humanitarian Affairs warns of escalating violence and cholera outbreak in the DRC. And in sports, Real Madrid complete preparations for La Liga clash against Valencia. Join us for these and many more stories after this break. To present Camnet TV main news in detail, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Plan International Youth Advisory Panelist Mapalo Chasaya has called on the government and various stakeholders to take decisive action against perpetrators of defilement. Chasaya emphasizes that it is unacceptable for individuals who commit such heinous crimes, including the defilement of a one-year-old child, to go unpunished. She says this issue requires collective concern and action from all citizens to prevent further occurrences. She has urged youths and women to join forces in ending defilement by reporting any instances of this crime. She says that the issue of defilement is a serious matter that demands attention and action from all stakeholders.
I know there's been a rise in cases in defilement and rape in Zambia. Now I know that these cases have brought about different feelings and they have stirred the nation in different ways. So I feel like government and stakeholders must come in and ensure stiff punishment for perpetrators and protect children that have been violated by perpetrators. The punishment for perpetrators in our country is not stiff. That's why people continue to rape and abuse children who do not have voices to speak out for themselves. Now I stand here as a representative of youth and children to come and address this issue and ask government and relevant stakeholders to come in and help us battle this issue, because we cannot do it alone. We cannot do it without your collective efforts. I want government to come in and help us to infuse stiff punishment for perpetrators of violence and abuse. These people cannot go scot-free after defiling a 4-year-old child. These people cannot go scot-free after raping and abusing someone. These people are ruining lives. They are ending education cycles. They are perpetrating poverty in our nation, and this needs to end. This is a serious matter. This is a serious issue, and I feel it should be taken with as much seriousness as it needs to be taken with. We need to end violence against children, girls, boys in our country and worldwide.
The Timber Association of Zambia has called for the removal of the ban on MUKULA tree harvesting ahead of the 2026 general elections, arguing that the restriction is hindering economic opportunities in the northern province. Association President Charles Masange emphasized that northern province is rich in MUKULA trees, yet authorities have done little to leverage this natural resource for economic growth. He stressed that the need for increased industrial development in the region to maximize the sector's potential. Mr. Masange also cautioned politicians against making empty campaign promises regarding the timber industry, urging them to focus on tangible solutions rather than using the upcoming elections as a platform to offer interventions that may never materialize.
Mwala mwona intungu shishingisha laisa mukongola abantu kuti seni mutusale tube ba mungande ya mafunde ale atemwa tube bakateka ba kino kyalo ichibemba kitila tumwana bamufunda pako yataba mufunda pako bwela yo nomo nalosha ni umu pamunga bakateka bakainde ichilema timba kale twamba okulira okukira ati twisiwile ni MUKULA timba pantu kwena mu kitungu kyesu icha northern province twalikwata obunonshi obwa MUKULA kimwefe nga mulu wapula province emoiri mumuchinga province emoiri mu eastern province emo na mu central na provinces yambya para northwestern lelo nga mwatimulolekeshe kuno ku northern province oko twaba ubunonshita kwa basana omulandu wa kutatukweta ama industry lelo lesa itulambule filengo na lese fingi twali kwa temi maneingi ndesubila mu kitungu kyesu cha Lunte na Mpolokoso district na tukwate emimana okukira na pali 35 imimana kabiri ndesubila mu alimo na kuno kwali bemfula twali kwata omukuba twabikapo no mushiri usumo wa bulimi kabiri na tukwata na timba iyo yali chilayonse timba yaba muno Zambia kubukankala bwaiko MUKULA timba nomba fyonse fi mulesa ngati tulesanga fe abakutwikata eicho twalomba kuli mwentungulushyo kutilati poseni kwa mano mutwisule ifintu tule muno bunonshi.
Climate smart agriculture expert Dr. Oliver Bulaya has backed President Hakainde Hichilema's decision to not lift the declaration of last year's drought as a national disaster instead of emergency, emphasizing that Zambia has yet to recover from the adverse effects of climate change. Dr. Bulaya highlighted the urgent need to invest in advanced technology and equip farmers with modern tools to adapt to the changing climate in the country to prove resilience even in times of drought. He further advocated for the widespread promotion of agroforestry, which integrates trees and crops to enhance soil moisture retention, prevent land degradation, and improve overall agricultural resilience. He stated that while the country faces unfavorable rainfall patterns, solutions exist to mitigate the impact of drought, particularly through climate-smart agricultural practices. According to Dr. Bulaya, such practices will not only cushion farmers against drought conditions, but also contribute to long-term sustainability in food production.
The lifting of also the emergency situation that we are in, that was pronounced by the president last year because of effects of El Nino. It will not do to lift this, declaration, in the sense that we are still in the process of recovery, and concerted efforts are needed by various stakeholders to ensure that we are food secure. this is a year that is showing, this season which is showing good rainfall patterns, but it's not all over the country. Southern is still having challenges in particular districts, but the rest of the country we have a favorable rainfall. And for us to have enough stock, for our own consumption and extra for selling, we are still a long way to go. So let's see how we are going to manage ourselves this year and how the rainfall pattern will be next year. I think it may take 2 to 3 seasons for us, to cushion the impact of food insecurity. And I think rushing in terms of lifting the state of emergency will not do in terms of the much resources that we need. As you are aware, we need to engage also in areas of irrigation. We need resources to train farmers for provide equipment, to some farmers, all that requires resources, So I think it is important that we see how we are going to prevail as a country from this season, the next season, and even the coming season. I think we'll have an indication, especially next season, how far we will fare in terms of food security.
We now go to Eastern Province, where farmers in the LUMEZI district have been urged to practice sustainable agriculture to reduce dependency on chemical fertilizers and hybrid seeds to ensure household food security. Kumbilo Agroecology Media Services is implementing the My Food is African campaign aimed at promoting the cultivation and preservation of indigenous African traditional foods using sustainable agricultural practices. The project is being funded by the Global Green Grants Fund through the Agroecology Fund. Speaking during a community dialogue on farmer-managed seed systems in Chief Zawada's chiefdom, Kumbilo Agroecology Media Services Executive Director Mishek Nyarengo said farmers have the power to control the agricultural sector by effectively managing their seed and soils through organic farming. Meanwhile, a lead farmer, Francis Mumba, has implored the farmers to take an interest by practicing sustainable agriculture.
So chakudya chili chonse bana kipangira mulungu ni mankwala na yakufeza munga ni mankwala. So ngati natural food, indigenous food, o kapena chakudya chemene kilima na organic fertilizer zankhala tilibe problem ili yonse. So za ulimi zakaena zakuti ulimi wamene su ononga nthaka era kamba kuti sustainable agriculture. Ononga nthaka ni munjira zambiri monga kusebenzisa ma fertilizer o ma weed killer vija vima ononga nthaka. So agroecology ni ulimi wamene tichita promote kulima mwachilengedwa in a natural way. Munga momene makolo watu wapapi witu wakalimilanga kwa fertilizer.
Bakatisambizya ise kapangilo ka fertilizer, organic fertilizer, iyo yupenja suna ndrama cha ni fertilizer ya zero ngwesa mdami kapena mkatai kapena 50 kwacha waka mwini fertilizer mwinae munda mwini mwamba kulima. So abantu aba bakatisambize tishite uli fertilizer we njapa fupi chomeni.
Psychologist Portrin Zuma has raised concern over the rising number of suicide cases among youths, attributing the trend to increasing mental health struggles, lack of support systems, and limited awareness. Speaking in an interview, Portrin Zuma says there is need for advocacy and awareness, adding that there is a lot of ignorance in the community and young people are not taught mental health skills that build their resilience and stamina to address challenges. She adds that most youths think suicide is the only way out when they are facing challenges, often because they feel isolated, misunderstood, or lack access to proper mental health support. Muzumba says sometimes there is a lot of comparison from peers, families, and communities, which in the end makes one feel frustrated and stagnant.
suicide. One of them is, and will always be, advocacy and awareness. There's a lot of ignorance in the community out there. Our young people are not taught mental health skills that build on their resilience and their stamina on how to address challenges. Most youths at this point in time feel it's so cool, or it's just something that is going to take away all your problems when you kill yourself. They feel it's an easy way out when life presses so hard on them. And remember that this is a group of people who are trying so hard to make it in life. This is a stage at which you're trying to establish your grounds, you're trying to find your foundation, where you should stand. And there's a lot of comparison, both from amongst your peers, and sometimes it actually comes from your family, from our communities. Oh, look at your peers are doing ABCD, that this one has done this and that, what are you doing? Okay, and it feels so frustrating, and it can make one feel stagnant and as if they're not doing anything. But at the same time, we need to acknowledge that these breakthroughs do not come at the same time. So we need mentors, we need support, emotionally, physically, financially.
The Lusaka City Council LCC has completed the construction of the Chifundo Road drainage system in Chawama constituency, a project funded under the 2023 Constituency Development Fund (CDF) at a cost of 2.3 million kwacha. The drainage system aims to address flooding concerns in the area, improving road durability and ensuring safer movement for residents, especially during the rainy season. LCC Assistant Public Relations Manager Nyambe Wulumba says the council is also nearing completion of the 2.2-kilometer Lilayu Close Road and its accompanying drainage system in Lilayu Ward 4 in Chawama constituency. He says the project, funded under the 2024 CDF at a cost of 2.5 million kwacha, involves grading and upgrading the road to a standard gravel surface. Mr. Bulumba adds that the project is 85% complete and is expected to be ready for commissioning soon.
The Lusaka City Council has completed the construction of the Chifundo Road drainage system in Chawama constituency, funded by the 2023 Constituency Development Fund (CDF) at a total cost of 2.3 million kwacha. Additionally, the construction of the 2.2-kilometer Lilayu Close Road and accompanying drainage system in Lilayu Ward 4, Chawama constituency, is nearing completion. Works are progressing well. The project involves grading and upgrading the road to standard gravel and is funded under the 2024 CDF at a total cost of 2.5 million. So this particular project is currently standing at 85% completion and is expected to be ready for commissioning anytime soon. So these projects will significantly benefit the community by way of reducing flooding, enhancing transportation, as well as supporting local businesses. And these initiatives have also led to the creation of more than 100 jobs during the construction phase and paved the way for sustainable development in the constituency and in the city as a whole. We therefore wish to urge the residents to take an active role in preserving, these infrastructures and to avoid dumping garbage into the drainage systems, to simply maintain their functionality and to ensure that they stand the test of time for them to be used by members of the community. The City Council reaffirms its dedication to improving the lives of Lusaka residents through the efficient utilization of CDF resources. We remain committed to implementing similar projects in all constituencies, subject to identification by residents and approval by authorities to ensure that there is continuation in terms of growth and development in terms of infrastructure in Lusaka. You might be aware that CDF is decentralized in nature, hence the need for members of the community.
Governance expert and human rights advocate Wesley Mianda has cautioned against the calls for the castration of defilement perpetrators, emphasizing that despite their crimes, they still have the right to life. Mr. Mianda, however, urged the judiciary to handle such cases with the utmost seriousness to ensure that offenders receive appropriate punishment. He says there is need for the judiciary to take a firm and decisive stance in adjudicating cases of this nature. Mr. Myanda stressed the need for a collective approach in tackling the increasing cases of defilement in the country.
Child defilement cases are becoming very common in communities, and these are posing a very big threat to upcoming generations. We have seen a number of these cases reported to our law enforcers. Some have even been taken to court where perpetrators are just given lighter punishment. We have seen civil society organizations that have taken to the streets to protest against child defilement. But you know, the lasting solution lies in the hands of all of us as members of the public, working hand in hand with our law enforcers, traditional leaders, civic leaders, church organizations, civil society organizations. That should include political parties and the judiciary. Once we put our efforts together, we'll be able to find the lasting solution to this problem. Now, the challenge that we have is actually with judiciary. We have seen some of these cases that have been taken to court, but perpetrators are just given lighter punishment. Okay, they're just given lighter punishment. Child defilement is even more serious than the case where somebody is found with a game meat. A case where somebody has actually been found stealing a cob of maize. Child defilement actually causes some traumatization on the part of victims.
Relationship counselor Morgan Mwape has cautioned young couples against cohabiting, citing the lack of legal protection and family support as major risks. Mr. Mwape emphasized that living together without formal recognition can lead to serious social and legal consequences, particularly in cases of separation or the death of a partner. Mr. Mwape explained that without legal or traditional agreements, cohabiting partners are vulnerable, especially when one partner passes away. In response to these risks, Mr. Mwape has urged both the youth and older generations to raise awareness about the consequences of cohabiting.
One of the dangers is that financially we are not stable. Even also the relationship is not stable. Talking about that is more like you've just come together just because you do not have a legal kind of arrangement, and that poses a very big threat. Even if that man does something to you, even if you die in a man's house or in a woman's house, or you are staying together, one of you is going to be in more trouble because you had no legal arrangement, no family members were involved. So I feel when we talk about cohabitation, these are the things that we should be looking at. And not only that, let's say for instance your cohabitation takes a tour where you have kids together, that becomes a burden, because at the end of the day there's these things that we call family arrangements, traditional arrangements. When a man dies and then you remain with the kids, where are you going to take those kids? Because you are not part of the family. This is just an agreement that you had, the two of you, and nobody else recognized it as an arrangement. So I feel let's look into that very well, and then at the end of the day, that's when we can evaluate it and see how best we can just handle this case. It has become a very, very bad habit, and it's happening right now. More especially that today's generation, we are busy saying you can't drive a car that you've not yet tested, which is very wrong, because biblically we are talking about sexual immorality and we are okay with it. which is not right. I feel it's high time we just sensitize to the young people, even the older people, the older generation, so that they can give us more, they can voice out their concerns over this issue, so that at least we are protected as a generation.
Deputy Chief of Party for the USAID TB Loan Project, Dr. Fallon Mwaba, has urged TB patients not to stop their medication midway, warning that it puts them at high risk. Dr. Mwaba explains that incomplete treatment can prevent the bacteria from being fully cleared, leading to repeated infections and a decline in quality of life. He also highlights the wider impact, stating that untreated TB can spread in the community, hindering progress towards eradication. He has acknowledged that stigma often causes patients to stop treatment and has called for greater community support and efforts to end TB-related stigma.
There are patients that sometimes choose to stop treatment midway through their treatment duration. Many reasons really come into play. Some of them actually just feel better. They feel like now they are okay and they can easily stop because their bodies feel rejuvenated. And others have other various reasons that can be talked about in other discussions. But then would like to emphasize that is very dangerous. Failing to complete the correct duration of treatment for TB can have a lot of repercussions. Some of these repercussions include the TB itself being incompletely treated, meaning that this person is not cured. The bacteria is not completely cleared from their system.
The Luangwa Immigration Office, in collaboration with other security agencies, has apprehended 7 Pakistani nationals for illegal entry into Zambia. The individuals were intercepted on Friday, 4th April 2025, at approximately 16:30 hours near the Luangwa Bridge. The group, consisting of men aged 19 and 39, was spotted walking toward the Luangwa Bridge checkpoint when they were stopped for inspection. Department of Immigration Public Relations Officer Namati Shinka say upon verification, 4 of them were found in possession of passports that lacked the necessary entry endorsement stamps, confirming they had not entered through an official border post. He adds that preliminary findings suggest that the individuals entered Zambia from Malawi and were en route to Lusaka. Mr. Shinka says it is suspected that they were transported by an unidentified individual group, which for unknown reasons abandoned them along the way. The at the Luangwa Immigration Office and will be transferred to Lusaka for further investigation and processing. In transport news this evening, the Online Taxi Drivers Association has expressed dissatisfaction with the commission structure of Yango hailing platform. Association President Lucas Chanda says Yango gives 30% commission to riders, leaving drivers with insufficient earnings to sustain themselves and their families. He is calling for a more equitable distribution of earnings, proposing a 50-50 split between drivers and the platform. He has stressed that currently only clients and the car hire applications are benefiting, while drivers struggle to make a living.
Riders, we are together in this fight. Join the association, Online Taxi Drivers Association of Zambia, and we are here to help you. You know, we are not really happy of the percentage that they are getting from you as riders. Really, last time I checked, they are getting 30% commission, of which is not making sense to you as riders. Please, come to the office and let's make sure that we work together, and we are making sure that, you know, we regulate this industry. No matter what, we are pushing this. No matter what, we need to regulate this industry. The moment we regulate this industry, we need you guys. You know, business is 50-50. The driver must be happy, even the rider must be happy, the client must be happy, as well as the car hailing company. Now, the ones who are benefiting today as we are speaking, there are only two people there. They are the riders, the clients, as well as the car hailing applications. So we need, you know, to level up this industry, that everybody must be happy at the end of the day. So gentlemen, riders, please join the association, and we make sure that we fight this battle together. Together we shall win this.
And that particular story takes us to our first set of commercials this evening on the Camnet News Desk. But do join us for international and sports news when we come back. Stay tuned.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodland, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us, ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha, paid express, once collateral is viewed, valued, and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration, or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Welcome back and thank you so much for still joining us on the Camnet News Desk. And now in international news, the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has raised alarm over the persistent violence in North and South Kivu, Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, which continues to result in civilian casualties, injuries, and mass displacement. The conflict between local armed groups and M23 rebels remains a major driver of instability, with intense clashes reported on Thursday in Masisi Center, North Kivu. The ongoing hostilities have exacerbated humanitarian challenges, displacing thousands and further straining local resources. Meanwhile, the southern province of Tanganyika is facing a rapidly worsening cholera outbreak, posing a severe public health threat. Here's a roundup of international news.
The Rwandan government has announced the death of its deputy spokesperson, Alain Mukuralinda, in an official statement. Mukuralinda was a prominent figure in Rwandan media and had served as deputy government spokesperson since December 2021. He had a distinguished career in the justice sector, starting at the Rwandan Prosecution Office in 2002 after studying law in Belgium. Additionally, Mukuralinda, known as Alain Muku, was also a notable figure in the music industry, creating a famous song for the national football team.
Egypt has received a $1.2 billion disbursement from the International Monetary Fund as the fourth tranche of its Extended Fund Facility EFF program. This disbursement is part of an $8 billion 46-month EFF arrangement initiated in March 2024, which expanded the original $3 billion program approved in late 2022. The IMF's executive board completed the fourth review of Egypt's economic reform program. The board approved Egypt's request for an arrangement under the Resilience and Sustainability Facility (RSF), granting access to about $1.3 billion aimed at supporting long-term economic resilience and sustainability initiatives.
The ongoing conflict between local armed groups and M23 rebels continue to result in loss of life, injuries and displacement among local population. Intense clashes between local armed groups and M23 rebels were reported on Thursday in the town of Masisi Center in North Kivu. Meanwhile, the southern province of Tanganyika is grappling with rapidly escalating cholera outbreak that poses a serious threat to thousands. As of Wednesday, 9 out of 11 health zones in the province have been affected, with over 1,450 confirmed cases and 27 deaths reported since January, a shocking six-fold increase compared to the same period last year. United Nations health partners emphasize the urgent need for access to safe drinking water, noting that less than 20% of the affected areas have adequate coverage, coupled with insufficient healthcare resources to effectively address the growing number of cases.
And finally, in sports news this evening, Real Madrid has concluded their final preparations ahead of their La Liga encounter against Valencia on Saturday. Carlo Ancelotti's side currently sit 3 points behind league leaders Barcelona, who are set to host Real Betis. With the season reaching a crucial stage, Madrid remain firmly in contention across all competitions, pursuing an unprecedented treble. Despite having secured a domestic and European double on 6 occasions, the club has never won the La Liga, the Champions League and the Copa del Rey in the same season. Their ambitions remain alive as they prepare to face Arsenal in the Champions League quarter-finals and have booked their place in the Copa del Rey final, where they will take on Barcelona at the end of April. And that sporting item brings us to the end of this edition of Main News on Camnet TV. But before we go, we'll take a recap of stories that made headlines. Government aids to lift MUKULA tree ban before 2026 elections. Embrace sustainable agricultural practices to be food secure, LUMEZI farmers advised. More stakeholders join calls for government to stiffen punishment for defilers and rapists. In international news, OCHA warns of escalating violence and cholera outbreak in the DRC. In sports, Real Madrid complete preparations for La Liga clash against Valencia. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 11. It reads, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. That ends the reading and that ends the main news on Camnet TV. But dear viewer, like always, do remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel. Now, on behalf of the entire production team, I'm Tapelo Joe Smata. Good evening, pleasant evening.
Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.